How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got the new prayer scrolls, quality of life and a quest update from the Old School RuneScape team. This week's update is going over some changes to the Rigor and Augury prayer scrolls, some quality of life changes and a new quest, Mistle and Mystery, which is what we're starting off with. This is the quest based on the 2016 Halloween event. It's available to both free-to-play players and members. If you want to start this quest, go to the southeastern corner of Lumbridge Swamp and talk to either Huey or Abigail. This should be great. I remember the Halloween event was very good and, well, obviously it was good enough for them to poll a quest. When I originally did my 2016 update review video, I thought it had failed and I reported on that, but luckily I was wrong and we've got it now. Unfortunately for some players that don't enjoy doing quests, if you did the 2016 Halloween event, you won't have completed the Mistle and Mystery quest, so if you want to get the rewards from that, you're going to have to do it again. Moving on to the graphics quality of life tweaks. These are some of the updates that were polled in the most recent Content Poll 50, models, animations and more, which I'll provide a link to at the end of this video. First of all, the Dark Blue Graceful set. At Brimhaven Dungeon, Pirate Jackie the Fruit now offers the Graceful recolor to match the Agility skill cape. To get this, you need a full set of Graceful and 250 tickets from the Brimhaven Agility Arena. And if you want to revert the colour back to the original Graceful set, just talk to Pirate Jackie the Fruit again. However, you won't get your tickets back when you do that. Next, the male Armadillo tweaks. Previously with male characters, the Armadillo set showed quite a bit of skin, and players voted to get rid of that, so the skin is a lot less visible. There's more metal on the armour and it looks quite nice. Moving on to the Max Fire Cape tweaks. The Max Fire Cape has now got a black background and the lava from the Fire Cape. However, it's unmoving, it's not animated, which is a shame because it's a technical limitation. I feel that what they polled and what they actually gave us right now is fairly different. The lava looked a lot brighter on the original image. The cape we actually got feels rather dull and a little bit boring. However, I must admit it does look a lot better than that strange sort of yellow and red Max Fire Cape that we had before. So at least it's an improvement. Next, moving on to the smoother Piscarillius sand. This has been applied to a lot of the sand in the Piscarillius area around Great Crend, and hopefully it'll improve the look of the entire area. And we've got the battle staff lengthening. The Ornament Steam, Mist and Dust battle staffs have all been lengthened to look a little bit more in line with the other battle staffs. Next, we've got the prayer scroll changes. First of all, they're splitting the scroll. They split Rigor and Augury into two separate scrolls. The Dexterous scroll unlocks Rigor and the Arcane scroll unlocks Augury. They've also converted all the current prayer scrolls to become Dexterous scrolls because Rigor's a little bit more used by the majority of players. And in fact, that's one of the main reasons they did this update, because the price of Augury being tied to a prayer that's in more demand wasn't really a good idea. So hopefully with this split, the prices will become more balanced for each prayer, and the rewards can be a little bit more varied from the Chambers of Xeric. The next change is the increased prayer scroll drop rate. The prayer scrolls have actually been very high priced since the release of raids, and that's been a little bit of a concern for the Old School RuneScape team. I think they wanted them to be a little bit more common. So what they've actually done is make both prayer scrolls twice as common in the drop rates of raids. And they've also tweaked the chance of receiving unique rewards from raids to account for the shift in the prayer scroll changes. And of course they will be monitoring the prices and the drop rates and everything right now just to make sure this change is the right thing to do. Moving on to untradables in PvP. There have been rare circumstances in PvP where untradables have disappeared very quickly. So to account for this, they've made some changes to how the broken items act in PvP scenarios. So below level 20 wilderness, broken items which would have been lost on death will now remain in your inventory. However, this won't protect your untradables from breaking. But don't worry on this won't have any effects on the opponent's loot. This change will also apply to all PvP worlds. I don't know if this is something on Deadman mode worlds as well, or maybe they've just got somewhat slightly different mechanics when it comes to untradables and PvP anyway. But we'll have to see about that. Hopefully that will be useful. Finally, in other news, the damage cap on Twisted Bow has been removed within the Chambers of Xeric. The costume room found in player-owned houses can now store all 8 pieces of graceful sets. Jonas, the owner of the Shiloh Village Furnace, now has a coffer from which he can take his payments, similar to the one in Blast Furnace. The login screen has now been reverted from the Chambers of Xeric to the normal screen. The Khazar Warlord in the Battlegrounds will now spawn individually for players. Maniacal Monkeys no longer drop the Zombie Champion scroll, as they are not zombies. The Behemoth Rat instance is no longer accessible while schooled in Deadman mode. When a raid floor is completed, a timer will be displayed to update players as they go. The private storage unit on Quidamortum now requires bank pin entry to use. Olm's barrier inside the Chambers of Xeric now has a quick pass option. It's now possible to pick up a full inventory of gourd vials simultaneously. The leave chat option in the clan chat tab is now a right-click option inside a raiding dungeon. If you leave a raid before collecting your reward, they are now sent to your raid's private storage, providing there is space. If they are not, they're still dropped to the floor. A tile in Vespula's room that had some blocking has now been fixed. The player-owned house armor case can now hold the ancestral robes and the corrupted armor. And the tithe farm now remembers your session score if you log out in there, though it cannot protect your crops you've planted. All of these updates this week seem great. I do like some of the graphical updates, although I'm somewhat worried about the Max Fire Cape being not animated. We'll have to see. And like I indicated before, I think the new quest will be quite good to do, because it's based on that 2016 Halloween event. If you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape news post, please click here for mouse keys, changes and clarification. And if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape poll, please click here for models, animations and more. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, stat blocks and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.